How do I create use cases for DAM? Posted by Henrik to Gyor on November 30th, 2010, on anotherdamblog.com. A blog reader asked how to create use cases for DAM. I gave a presentation about this topic during a DAM conference. What use cases did you have before DAM was part of the equation? Before you had a DAM, were your workflows documented? All too often, use cases are not documented. In fact, they may be locked in multiple silos, where each person, even within the same group, do things differently. Therefore, migrating to a workflow with DAM becomes a mystery. Without use cases, the user adoption of the DAM is often lower if users do not know why, nor how, nor when to use the DAM. Where does DAM fit in the user's daily workflow? Use cases can also affect the choice of a DAM solution. Use cases are needed to be documented and shared. Another reason for having use cases is training for new people. How do newly hired people find out how to do their jobs? Are they born with this knowledge? Should an employer expect everyone to know how to use all the tools and policies of the organization to get their job done? Not likely. Enter a new person, a new hire, to an organization. What are they supposed to do? What tools are involved? When do they use the DAM, and for what purposes? Should new people operate differently than people doing the same tasks for years within the same organization? Not likely, but they often do. Does each person who coaches a new person give their own version of how to do things, plus or minus a few steps? Is this standardized? This is often not only due to a particular level of experience, but lack of documentation and poor training. And we expect consistency, somehow. Maybe my mind reading? That is not likely going to happen. When you start researching a DAM for your organization, instead of looking at the shiny features, see what will work well with your use cases by presenting them to the vendor during a demo. Have real assets you would likely be working with, along with real use cases. Ask the vendor to demo their solution for your use cases with your assets, with metadata, from start to finish, in front of you. Start building use cases with what you have and how you do things today. What do you do today? How do you do it? Who does what? When does it happen? Why is it done that way? What is the process? What tools are used? How could this improve? And how can it be done more consistently? Be sure to consider the people, process, and technology in that order, which are involved from start to finish. Not sure who, how, or what is involved? Ask by using surveys, group workshops, and individual interviews. When you start with surveys, start with online or paper form with long answer questions, not simply ratings. Ask all roles. Don't expect 100% return, even with a prize. Send it to everyone, including decision makers and potential DAM users, doing the daily work. When you're doing group workshops, be aware of who is talking and who is not. Include all group members. In case extroverts have all the say, while introverts remain quiet in the corner, getting frustrated, have people take turns talking so everyone contributes. When it comes to individual interviews, make sure it's not just senior staff, but junior staff for a varying perspective that are talking. Both computer literate and those who prefer analog should also contribute. Make sure there's individual interviews of all roles. When reviewing who is working, consider their role in the organization, not just their name, so you can build and scale these job functions as needed. While creating these use cases, who makes the initial request? Who and what takes the request? Who handles and processes the request? Where does the request go after that, and after that, and after that? Note the pattern to fill the gaps. How many other people do the same task or tasks? Is this redundancy to handle volume or act as a backup? Can this scale up or down today based on the amount of work to do? What is the volume of requests? Where do the requests get filled or completed? Who does this? Who or what delivers the end product or service? Consider the whole life cycle of a typical project, from idea to delivery, and walk through all the steps. How much communication is involved in all of this? Likely not enough. It is not enough to lock decision makers in a room. As discussed earlier, there are different points of view to keep in mind. Keep the communication channels open among all differing points of view. Stay positive. When negative points need focusing, laugh about it, then find a resolution. Create roles. Envision the end result. Have a goal. Make it clear. Try even mind mapping. Simplify when in doubt. Follow through, and measure the results. Avoid jargon and acronyms so anyone can understand it. Be open to feedback, but have a schedule with deadlines and accountability. However you create use cases, write them down and share it within your organization. How do you create use cases for DAM? For more on this and other digital asset management topics, log on to anotherdamblog.com. Another Damn podcast is available on Audioboo, iTunes, and the Tech Podcast Network. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to email them at anotherdamblog@gmail.com. Thanks again.